Good morning, boys and girls. We are on lesson 27, page 144. Make sure you are turning to the correct page. For the first problem, they asked you to divide and then check your work with multiplication. I don't have room for multiplication, but you can do that. So, for the first problem, I'm figuring out how many times can 28 go into 7. 28 can't go into 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a decimal, because now that you guys have learned about decimals, we can add decimals, and a 0 to the end, because remember, 7.0 is the same as 7, and it's also the same as 7.00000. How many zeros there is? There is really not a difference. What it allows us to do is really complete the problem until we get 0 and no remainders. So 28 can go into 70. Let's try about 2 times. 28 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16, 4 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so I get 56. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to regroup. 10 minus 6 is equal to 4, 6 minus 5 is equal to 1. Add another 0 at the end. How many times can 28 go into 140? I'm going to try 28 times 5 and see if that works. 8 times 5 is 35, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is equal to 13. Wait, plus 3 is equal to, I just realized something, that I multiplied 8 times 5 incorrectly. 8 times 5 is equal to 40, not 35. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So I get exactly 140 when I multiply times 5. 140 minus 140 is 0. Don't forget to bring up your decimal, and your final answer is 0.25. Now I'm moving on to problem B. 51, which is my dividend, divided by 25, which is my divisor. 25, I'm thinking of quarters when I think of 25. 25 times 2, I think, would work for 51. 5 times 2 is 10, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, I get 50. Subtract, 1 minus 0 is 1. Add a 0, don't forget your decimal. Bring it down. How many times can 25 go into 10? 0 times. 10 minus 10 is equal to 10. Add another 0 because I'm still getting remainders. 25 can go into 100 5 times. So I am going to try 5. 4. Because 25 times 4, or 4 quarters, is equal to $1. Subtract. 100 minus 100 is equal to 0. Don't forget to bring up your decimal. And your final answer is 2.04. For problem problem C, I have 6 and 5/10, which goes inside, divided by 13, which is my dividend, or divisor. Dividend is 6.5. Now, I'm going to multiply 13 times, let's try 5. 3 times 5 is 15, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So I'm going to write 65, subtract, I get 0. Don't forget to bring up your decimal, and your answer is 0.5 or 0.5. For problem number D, or problem letter D, I have 132 and 1600ths, which goes inside as my dividend, and 16 as my divisor. I'm going to try to multiply 16 times a number in order to get close to 132. I'm going to try 8. 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 4 is going to give me 12. I get 128. 2 minus 8 is not possible. I'm going to regroup. 12 minus 8 is 4. Bring down your 1. I get 41. 16 can possibly go into 41 maybe 2 times. 6 times 2 is equal to 12. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 32. So I'm writing 32. Subtract. I'm going to regroup. 11 minus 2 is 9. 3 minus 3 is 0. Bring down my 6. Let's see how many times 16 can go into 96. Possibly 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So I get 96 and I subtract. So don't forget to bring up your decimal, and your final answer is 8.26. Now, I'm going to work on problem E. For problem E, I have 561 and 6800s, which goes inside as my dividend. 28 goes on the outside. I'm going to make sure I multiply. So let's see, 28 times what is close to 56? I'm going to try 28 times 2. 8 times 6 is equal, or 8 times 2 is 16. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So I get 56 exactly. Subtract, bring down my 1. I know that 28 can't go into 1, so subtract again, bring down my 6. And I know that 28 can't go into 16, so again, subtract, bring down my 8, 168. I'm going to try 8 times and see if that works. Or 6 times. Let's try 6 times. 28 times 6 is 48. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 4 is 16. I get 168. Subtract and I get 0. Don't forget to bring up your decimal, and your final answer is 20 and 600ths. Over here, I have 604 and 8/10, which goes inside. 36 goes on the outside as divisor. I'm going to try 36 and subtract. 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. 6 changes to 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring down your 4. You get 244. How many times can 244 go in? I'm going to try 6 times and see if that works. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 3 is 21. So I have 2, 1, 6, and subtract. 14 minus 6, and let's see, 14 minus 6 is going to give me 8. 4 changes to 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. And so I get 288, because I need to bring down my 8, sorry. How many times can 36 go into 288? I'm going to multiply and see. Maybe by 8. 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 3 is 24. Plus 4 is 28. So that is 8 times. I have 288. Subtract. I get 0. Don't forget to bring up your decimal, and your final answer is 16 and 8/10. Now we're going to do the problem on the bottom. In a science class, students water a plant with the same amount of water each day for 28 consecutive days. If the student uses a total of 23.8 liters of water over the 28 days, how many liters of water did they use each day? So I need to figure out how many can 28 go into 238. So I'm going to try 28 times, maybe 8. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 6 is 22. 224. Subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. I'm going to add a 0 because I'm getting a remainder. How many times can 28 go into 140? I'm going to try 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14, and that works perfectly. I get 140. Don't forget to bring up your decimal. You can add zeros before if you want to as well. So they use about 0.85 liters each day. Now I'm going to turn the page, and I'm working on problem number 3. Problem number 3 says a seamstress has a piece of cloth that is 3 yards long. She cuts it into shorter lengths of 16 inches each. How many of the shorter pieces can she cut? We know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, right? So we're going to first convert it into feet. So I'm going to multiply 36 times 3. 6 times 3 is equal to 18. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. I get 108. Now I'm going to divide 16 inches by 108. 16 times what? Let's see. Let's try 16 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. I get 96. I'm going to subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. 10 minus 9 is 1. I get 12. So if I get 12, that means that she needs to cut 6 of the shorter pieces in order because that's my remainder, right? So that's the full length that she can cut, 6. After that is going to be a decimal, and we want to know full length. So she can cut 6 of the shorter pieces. It's the most she can do. Now I'm going to move on to problem 4. Jenny filled 12 pitchers with an equal amount of lemonade in each. The total amount of lemonade in the 12 pitchers was 41.4 liters. How many liters of lemonade would be in 7 pitchers? Okay, so first things first, I'm going to divide 12 and 41.40. Why? Because they're asking me if this 12 pitchers was 41.4 liters, then how much would I have? From that number, I'm going to take that number and multiply it times 7. So 12 can go into 41 about 3 times. 12 times 3 is equal to 36. 11 minus 6 is 5. 4 changes to 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. I don't need to write that. 12 can go into 54 4 times because 12 times 4 is equal to 48. Subtract. 14 minus 8 is equal to 6. Bring down my 0. 12 can go into 60 5 times because 12 times 6 is equal to 60. And I do not have remainder. So I'm taking this number now and I'm multiplying it times 7 pitchers. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 3 is equal to 32. Oh wait, 31. I thought I was adding 4. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 3 is equal to 24. So now I need to make sure I move my decimal over twice. So I get 24.15 liters in the 7 pitchers. And that is all for today. If you have a question, please make sure you're asking in class.